Broadcasting from the heart of the Colorado Rockies, it's 4th and 99 with your hosts, David Slade, Keith Brookman, and Matt Stappiero. Now let's talk football here on 4th and 99.
Hey, good evening, everyone. This is David with 4th and 99 here on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Tonight we have a great show planned for you. And I have joined with me today Keith Brugman up in nice, wonderful, warm Montana.
Yes.
So even got the beanie on, so it must be really warm up there.
Yeah, this is taking a couple layers off, believe it or not. So
yeah. Unfortunately, Matt is unable to make it with us tonight, but he may be chiming in from the peanut gallery. So we'll see if he, you guys go ahead and throw us, your comments, questions. We're really going to try to hit on the head coaching thing, try to figure this out a little bit, see what's going on around here.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to talk about the ESPN NFL Top 10 Rookies. Those came out today. And then we'll talk about who your dream team is as far as who you want as your head coach, your two coordinators, and then your quarterback on the team. And then we'll do our pick'ems for the game.
Yeah.
So
hopefully better than last week because
yeah,
I think I had a lot of faith in just teams that got in and was going to ride that high of getting into the playoffs, and I picked the Raiders. That didn't go well. I picked the Steelers. That didn't go well. So
no, that didn't go well at all. So
no,
that was not a fun game to watch in my household with my wife being a Steelers fan. So
I know. Just your wife should kind of like me. I tried to pull for him, buddy. I tried.
So,
tell her I tried.
I will let her know, Keith. So, do you think that was Big Ben's last game?
I think it should be. I hope it is.
I
really
do too. I don't want to see him do like Brett Favre did.
Yeah.
Brett Favre just hung around too long. John Elway did it right. He won 2 Super Bowls and he went out.
Oh yeah,
and that's how you want to do it. So you want to win back-to-back Super Bowls and then head out. So
yeah, if you're a Peyton Manning and you can win a Super Bowl, leave. It's always nice when you can hit that.
Yeah,
echelon.
leave on top.
Leave on top. But what year would that have been for Big Ben though?
Oh boy, 50. What's the last Super Bowl they won? Was it 50?
The Steelers?
No, man, it's been a while.
Yeah.
If anybody knows out there, if anybody can look, when is the last time the Steelers won a Super Bowl, and when should Ben have departed? If
to leave on top,
right? To leave on top. Victor here, our friend, says Big Ben is done. Victor, what do you think of Locke possibly going to Pittsburgh?
That'd be an interesting one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it definitely would be. So
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, it definitely would be. So
Tomlin did come out and say he'd like to see some mobility in his next quarterback.
Yeah, Ben really, even from the beginning, wasn't the most mobile quarterback. He's stumbled around out there. 2009, so he would have had to hang it up 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So
I think that would have been a little early to hang up.
That would have been after
just let you know
6 years, so 6 or 7 years in the league.
But you're right. You hate to see that quarterback that was once great was that franchise guy. I mean, it was really tough to see Joe Montana go to Kansas City for me.
Yeah, it definitely was.
That was odd, and I didn't. Not that I was really happy about him going to Kansas City and improving their chances either, but just being out of a 49ers uniform, that was so odd to end the career.
It was really odd. Do you remember that Monday night game of the Broncos against Kansas City? And Elway drove the Broncos down. It looked like they were going to win, and then here comes Joe Montana back and
all the way
gives
back.
Kansas City to win. So
yeah, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah,
my cousin, who's like my brother, is a big 49ers fan. I was a Broncos fan growing up. So it was always heartbreaking. We're the exact same age. when the Broncos and the 49ers played in the Super Bowl. I'm like, oh, Broncos all the way. Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
No, that didn't work out in your favor, did
That
it,
didn't
Keith?
work out for my favor either. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Not a good streak.
yeah, definitely so. All right, everyone. Before we get started, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsor really quick, Willow Seasonings and Blends. Check them out at willowseasonings.com. Pick up some seasonings and put a little spice into your life. All right, rapid fire time, Keith. All I want is a yes, a no, or a maybe.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a candidate, and you let me know either yes, you want him, no, you don't, or maybe.
So
And
so in this, do I only get one yes? Because I'd only want one head coach out of the list, presumably.
well,
Or
well, presumably you would,
yeah.
So if you know who your yes is, the guy you want right now, then you could save that yes for him and
Oh,
give all the others no's or maybes. So,
there you go. There you
and
go.
anybody out there, feel free to join in. So,
Hopefully, Dave, you're going to give your opinion because I think just my opinion would be. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Go right ahead.
no,
What do
all
we got
right.
for? What do we got?
First,
Number one.
first one on the list, and this was the first candidate to interview, Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator, Detroit Lions.
I'm going to have to give a no on this one.
And I will too. I mean,
Okay.
I there was nothing really impressive at Detroit, to
Yeah.
hang his hat on. So, and Victor comes in with the no as well.
All right.
And Matt, if you can chime in, what your pick would be. All right, next, the second interview of the process, Luke Getsy, Green Bay Packers QB coach and passing game coordinator. Would you want him as your head coach, Keith?
All the way to head coach, I'd say no.
I would say, I'm going to say maybe on Getsy.
Oh.
So he sort of intrigues me a little bit, but
Okay.
I would have to know a little bit more about him.
Okay.
All right, next one, Nathaniel Hackett, Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator.
So I'm going to make a list of ones that I would definitely consider. They're going to be my yeses, and Nathaniel Hackett is going to be a definite. I think you have to seriously consider him for this position. So I'm going to say yes there.
And I agree. I think you need to consider him. I mean, he did a decent job in Jacksonville with Blake Bortles. So if we give him a decent quarterback,
who knows?
Of course, he wouldn't be our OC, and I would think probably Getsy would follow as his OC. So
yeah, you usually see a lot of that pulling from the same tree, right?
Yeah, and a chance to entice Aaron Rodgers here.
That's also true.
Yes. All right, next one.
Yeah, before we go to the next one, a lot of people just tie that and they say, "Oh, this is an Aaron Rodgers package." But what was the Green Bay offense rated? How well did they do? They were one of the best in the league. Would no other quarterback outside of Aaron Rodgers be wanting to play for these guys? I think you bring those guys in there. I think there's more than just one guy that's interested going, yeah, I'll go play for him. I think you get a lot more interest. And certainly if you end up bringing in somebody like a rookie QB or something like that as well with those guys, then I mean, you would have to be elated to go into a position possibly like that, right?
Yeah. So we got this comment, says the coach isn't going to matter. The owner isn't going to matter. The draft is not going to matter. If we do not land Rodgers or Wilson, none of it is going to matter. I'm not sure who this is from. If you could please throw your name out there. I have an idea who it may be. I think it might be Kurt from K&K Sports.
Oh.
And then they also give me Rodgers or Wilson or give me death for another year.
Jeez.
So, and Matt, it's Francisco.
Hello, Francisco.
Yes. Sorry that we've been having a battle with Kurt over K&K Sports for quite a while over this, and he's a Aaron Rodgers or must type guy. So I thought that's who it may be. So, And just to let you know, anybody out there, if you're on Facebook, at the top of the announcement that came out that said we're going live, there's a link on there that you can click on and give StreamYard permission to use your Facebook name. So,
And if you're really big on, Big Brother watching you and you don't want to put your name in there, don't want to subscribe to that privacy, just drop your name in the comment, and then at least we know who we're talking to. We'll be glad to talk to you that way too.
Right. And Matt Staffiero says it is not Rodgers, Wilson, or bust, in my opinion. And I'm there with Matt as well. I think Keith sort of shares in that as well. And just to let everybody know, we're in the works now of putting together a quarterback roundtable with some of the gentlemen over at K&K Sports. So when that is ready to go off, when us 3 4th and 99er guys are ready to face off against some people over at K&K, we will let y'all know when that's going to happen. So
sounds fun.
All right. We left off Nathaniel Hackett was the last one, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
I
then the
stopped
next
you, paused you.
The next guy to get interviewed was Kellen Moore, Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator.
I'll go maybe.
Okay.
I almost went no. I'll be honest. That's the way I'm leaning in maybe, but I'll go maybe.
I think I throw Kellen Moore into that pile with Hackett that I need to look at a little bit more. So more of a yes guy that I really want to take a look at this guy and see more. I mean, we've been so beat up on the defense here, that I mean, we're looking for an offensive minded person to come in. So I would definitely take a little harder look at Kellen Moore.
The only reason I give my maybe no is just experience, right?
Right.
I just don't know if he's there yet. It's a big step, and
it is a huge step, but I mean, you look at some of the guys that have made the leap. Sean McVay. I mean, you got some of these younger coaches that are coming up now. These guys are just almost like geniuses.
Yeah.
So, and maybe we catch one.
Yeah.
So, all right, the next person who interviewed, and I think this is Matt's favorite candidate out of the whole group, is Dan Quinn, Cowboys defensive coordinator. Where are you going, Keith? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, I'm bringing him in. I just think of our list of candidates, he's the one with all the experience, right? He's the one that has the resume that looks like he should be getting at least another chance at a head coaching position, right? Has done well in a lot of different places, struggled it, but was that ownership? Was that GM? Was that, who knows what was really coming out of that? It's certainly worth a look. I say yes to bringing this gentleman in.
And I say yes as well. Most coaches on their second try do better, because they learn from their failures, and those are things that you need to investigate during the interview process. What did you learn? How would you do things different? How would you have handled the Super Bowl differently? So, I mean, is it all on him? No, because he wasn't the offensive coordinator, but he definitely had that power to step in and say, Kyle, what are you doing?
Yeah,
so,
right.
All right. And then the next candidate that we went to today was this morning. They went to Boston and interviewed Gerard Mayo, inside linebacker coach from the New England Patriots.
Yeah. Where I was maybe no on Kellen Moore, I had to go just no on Gerard Mayo.
Yeah, and I'm no on. I saw a video on this guy, and it was about his leadership and all that. And after that, I watched it, and I'm like, yeah, I would hire this guy. But you know what? The guy's the inside linebacker coach. He's been doing this for three years. I mean, he's not a coordinator that develops game plans or anything else like that. So I would say no as well.
Yeah.
And then today they also interviewed John Gannon, Eagles defensive coordinator. Yes, no, or maybe there.
How about I go maybe?
And I'm gonna go maybe there too. I'm sort of turned off a little bit on defensive coordinators. I mean, I just put Dan Quinn up there as a yes because he has that head coaching experience. So,
and I'll be honest, early on, I'm kind of a closet Eagles fan, I guess you could say, in some aspects. I kind of always watched them, maybe it's just the history of them and with Cunningham and McNabb that I liked as I was growing up. But that being said, early on in this year, I was not happy with the Eagles defense at all. I don't know where they end up ranking or how they end up turning out for the end of the year, but I can tell you that it was not looking good for them early on in the year when there were some games getting played out in my area. Figure that they're a Philadelphia game.
Yeah. And Matt says yes on Gannon. I know Matt's sort of been high on Gannon for a while. He says bring him in as to be HC, not a DC. Get him a DC who can call the plays. And no, yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're bringing these guys in to be HCs, and I just don't want to go defensive guy again. I mean, unless it's someone who's experienced. So, and brings up good point here, Adam and Kayla Couple. He will build a hell of a staff also, and that's what you want. You want any of these coaches that come in to build a staff.
Do we know who he was speaking of? Adam?
I think he's referring to Dan Quinn. So,
okay, there we go.
But I mean, that has to be the number one thing of this is what staff are you going to build? So,
yeah.
All right, now we're going to get into three people have not interviewed yet. And they're three offensive coordinators.
Okay.
So first one will Eric Bieniemy, offensive coordinator, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, I need to bring him in. The guy I don't even think has gotten opportunities to interview. So I know that a lot of people are somewhat pessimistic about, hey, he doesn't, he hasn't gotten interviews or he hasn't been called up and maybe there's reasons. Maybe the guy just hasn't gotten an interview. I think with all the time that he's had with that offense, it'd be worth bringing him in and talking to this gentleman. Yep. Eric Bieniemy, yes.
And I'm going to say a maybe on Eric Bieniemy.
Okay.
I mean, he has had opportunities to interview before, not here in Denver, but he's just always struck out, and you always wonder that there's some personal ghost in his past that, especially here in the state of Colorado, that, I think are going to come up in his interview process. And, and also he's not the play caller in Kansas City. And I don't really care who's calling plays. I want a head coach who can build a team and lead these guys. And one thing Matt says here, and because we're going back to where Adam and Kayla said, Dan will build a good thing. And Matt says, well, that's one thing he failed to do with the departure of Kyle. And we don't know that. We don't know who was making those hires. Was it Dan Quinn's choice? Was it the GM's choice? So, I mean, I think it's sort of unfair to put it all on Dan Quinn for the failure there. So
I'm pretty sure it does not come from the head coach, whether another coach can interview, for a position. That has to come from above the head coach. I believe that has to be management, ownership level. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if Kyle Shanahan had a request to interview from another team, say the 49ers or the Broncos or whoever it happened to be, right? Yeah. I don't think it was Dan Quinn's decision to let him interview.
And I guess Eric Bieniemy, I would probably bring him in, and see how he responds to these character concerns that there are out there, and what his plan would be for building a team. Because I mean, he doesn't call the plays, but he sure as heck helped develop Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So
there's a little bit of, I mean, just as the amount of time that he's been with Andy Reid, you just hope there'd be some osmosis, right? If nothing else, you're with these people, you're with these players, you're with the play calls, you're going over offenses. Even if you're not the number one play caller, there's something to be said that, hey, you're in the background making this all happen. You know what I mean? In some capacity, you're the offensive coordinator. You're heavily involved.
All right, next one. And this is one I'm really intrigued by. Offensive Rams offensive coordinator, or Los Angeles Rams offensive coordinator, Kevin O'Connell. I mean, is he a yes, no, or maybe for you?
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to say no. I'm big on offensive coordinators. I don't know. There's something. I think this is a McVay type of system, and I know I just got done talking about osmosis and the whole 9 yards, but he hasn't been with. How long has he been with the Rams again? Does anybody? Oh,
Matt, do you know by chance how
he
long?
was hired. I was just looking at it actually. He was hired January 16th of 2020.
So yeah, I mean, not a
So
lot of experience, but I think he's still a guy I would at least talk to.
you know,
You know,
was with the
I mean,
the
how old was McVay, and how much experience did he have when he was hired? Wasn't he like 32?
yeah, he would. I know he was super young, but I mean, so Cleveland. This is his resume. Cleveland Browns in 2015, position of quarterbacks coach. In February 2016, hired to be the on the offensive staff of the 49ers. And then 17 through 19, he went from quarterback coach with the Washington Redskins to offensive coordinator, and then was hired by the Rams in 2020. So, bulk of his experience is 2017 to 2019 being a quarterback coach, and then being promoted to offensive coordinator with the Washington Redskins. So, I had to remind myself exactly what his resume looked like and why I was saying no. I just not very impressive to me. Not very much time in the McVay system. I just don't think he fits the bill for someone who's worthy of bringing in.
Yeah, and then Colorado Cuban 420 has a good point here. Without a good play caller, then how can we guarantee that we'll be properly prepared for the game to guarantee us to win? Proper play calling is very key, and you have to have a good play caller. And I agree. I mean, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And that's where you want a head coach who's going to bring in good coordinators,
Mm-hmm.
and if you got a head coach, I don't care if a head coach calls plays either on the offense or defense, as long as they can manage the rest of the game. We saw for the last 3 years that it was just way beyond Vic Fangio's ability to run the defense and try to call plays. So, and then the last candidate on the head coaching list is Cincinnati Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan.
Brian Callahan gets my 100% yes, buddy. This is my of all the people on this list. This is who I think I'd want to have in here the most.
Okay, that's your number one guy
He's my
out of
guy.
everybody on this list.
I know it sounds crazy, but I mean, this is a guy that has been the offensive coordinator for the last 2 years for the Cincinnati Bengals. Before that, he was quarterbacks coach for Carr in the Oakland Raiders. I mean, in 2016, Matt Stafford, he was quarterbacks coach for him.
Yeah.
This guy has a great history. He has a couple of years now, a few years sitting around a system that I absolutely love, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals offense.
And I love the Bengals offense as well. And me and Matt talked about it. I think we have the talent to mimic Cincinnati's offense,
100%.
And I would even say, and I know a lot of people are going to come after me for saying this, I would say even with Drew Lock as the quarterback in the right system with the right coaches, he could mimic that. I'm not saying he's Joe Burrow, but we could run that style offense, I believe. And I think Locke would be comfortable in it. And that's why on this list here, too, I think Callahan's probably my number one guy. My number two guy is probably Dan Quinn because of experience. But the guy that I really want's not even on this list.
Oh.
And that's Mike McDaniel from San Francisco.
Hmm.
So their offensive coordinator. So
you know what? That's a good call, man. That's a fantastic call. The funny thing is, before the list came out, I was trying to forecast too, and my guy Brian Callahan ended up being on the list. Of all people, Brian Callahan ended up on the list. I wish I would have put that out there in the universe of social media somehow, but I promise, I was high on Brian Callahan from the very beginning. So,
yeah. And Matt even says top target on the list, and Gannon's a top the close number 2 for him. So
Wow.
so
The funny thing is most of the time we talk all week, and we always have chatter. I've been kind of off the radar completely, and certainly I didn't have any conversation around this. So I'm like 100% shocked that you guys are both on board with Brian Callahan coming in as the Denver Broncos head coach out of that list. If you go out there and you look at any other lists or who's projected or who's putting any information out there, Brian Callahan isn't getting a whole lot of chatter out of the list that we've seen put out.
you really want to be shocked now?
Yeah.
Matt and I agree on 2 things. Because he thinks that Mike McDaniel is a big miss by George Payton.
Wow.
So
You
I don't know
guys
what's going on.
No kidding, man.
Man.
That full moon that just passed, I tell you, it's really got things messed up.
So, all right. Let's move off of the head coaching.
Okay.
I'm hearing, and this is just a rumor on the head coaching stuff, that we'll probably make an offer to Dan Quinn by Sunday, is what I'm hearing. So we'll see. We'll talk a little bit further down, who would be your dream team. And we can even let's make it Dan Quinn's the
head coach.
What am I trying to say? Yeah, the head coach. So who would you want as your DC and your OC and your quarterback?
Okay.
We'll play the game like that if you want, but you can throw in your dream team as well.
Yeah.
So
my dream team's better than Dan Quinn as head coach. So.
All right, everybody. ESPN released their NFL top 10 for rookies. So we're going to start at number 10 and work our way up. And if you have not seen this list, anybody out there, please do not peek and give me a guess of who you think is the number 1 rookie, according to ESPN. All right, number 10, Javon Holland, safety from Miami Dolphins. 69 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, 10 passes defended. So pretty decent, for a safety. Not bad numbers. So
yeah, came in, filled a good spot for him. I think he played well. So can't expect much more.
All right, number 9, and I'm going to butcher this name.
Good.
It is, unless you want to take a shot at it, Keith. Jeremiah Owusu Koromo. Is that
Koromoa?
Koromoa.
Owusu Koromoa.
The inside linebacker from the Cleveland Browns. 76 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 4 passes defended. So, and not bad numbers for a rookie.
Yeah. One other thing, for anybody who hasn't already checked, or is a big Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa fan, drafted number 52nd overall as well. So obviously playing really well to hit this list at number 9.
Yeah, definitely. And also Javon Holland, he was drafted 36th overall. So
yeah, outside the first round.
Yeah. So usually it's your, first round rookies that are in the top 10, but a couple guys from outside. All right, number 8, Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Miami Dolphins. And I did not realize that he had this decent of a season. 104 receptions, 1,015 yards, 6 touchdowns, and then a rushing TD as well. So, and he was the number 6 overall draft pick.
Yeah, for a quarterback that really didn't come on to the second half, for a stat line like that, pretty good for a rookie, right?
And the Dolphins moved up 6 spots to get him.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and do you think Tua may have had a little influence on that?
Maybe just a tad.
So, all right, number 7, your Denver Bronco. All right, out there, which Bronco do you think it is? Which rookie Bronco do you think is number 7? So,
got a couple of good ones in there that we could have in there.
We
right?
do. It could be Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
Could be Pat Surtain, the second. Number 7 is Pat Surtain, the second. Cornerback, 58 tackles, 4 interceptions, 14 passes defended, and 1 touchdown. And it got to a point where people were not even throwing at this guy anymore. I mean, I think I said it on our show last week when we were talking about MVPs on offense and defense. I said, good cornerbacks, you usually don't hear their names because people aren't throwing at them. And you didn't really hear Pat Surtain's name a lot.
No,
So.
100%. Obviously, you got to give it up to Pat Surtain. I think he had a fantastic season. Anytime, like you said, you can go in, you're expected not only to fill a spot in the secondary your first year out, but then all of a sudden you have injuries all around you, and you're expected to play all over the place and know different positions and end up being a leader on the field because you're talking about guys that are dang near off the practice squad. So
right. Number 6, Kyle Pitts, tight end, Atlanta Falcons, 68 receptions, 1,026 yards, 1 touchdown. The number 4 overall draft pick.
Yeah.
And this sort of shocks me because, I mean, only 1 touchdown. That's the thing that really glares out towards me is him and Matt Ryan. Did they not have any chemistry? I mean, to only have 1 TD?
Not only that, if you think about it, really, tight end is a big position in that Atlanta Falcons offense, and for a stat line like Matt Ryan had to come up with 1,026 yards or even 68 receptions is not a big stat line overall. Came on in the second half, and thank goodness he did. If not, I'm surprised he's on this list. I'm kind of surprised he's not a little bit a tad or two lower.
I'm wondering if it's just a name thing because he was so hyped coming in. So
this was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to be like number 1.
Yeah,
everyone expected him to be a game changer of a player. So
right.
Like you said, 1 TD is not a game changer of a player.
And this next guy. This guy's a game changer. This guy, I'm surprised he's not higher up on the list. And that's Jamar Chase, wide receiver, Cincinnati Bengals. 81 receptions, 1,455 yards, 13 touchdowns. Set the rookie record for receiving yards. Broke his former teammate at LSU, Justin Jefferson's record that was set the previous year. So, I mean, this guy, I remember in the preseason, this guy was dropping balls left and right.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to just point out. Everything through the preseason was, wow, can Jamar Chase come even close to turning this around? Can he look decent? You know what I mean? Because he looks terrible in preseason. Drops all over the place. Didn't look like he was even enthused to be out there. And then, man, the season hit. If Jamar Chase is out there listening, hope he is. Thank you, because you were on my fantasy football team. Never came off the roster. And there's a reason for it. Look at that stat line.
I know. Cow. And I had him on my team as well. And definitely somebody that was always on the field. So, all right.
I considered it playing him on my bye week. I mean, that's how good he was.
So, this number 4, Creed Humphrey, center, Kansas City Chiefs. 17 starts, a 97.7 pass block win rate. And he was the number 63 overall draft pick, and he finishes number 4 on this list.
Yeah.
So, and that guy's a beast. I mean, the
only thing that did the Chiefs have a first pick in the draft? Did they? I can't even remember now.
I was gonna say
home run, obviously, in this. That's what I talked about it all year long about how Cushenberry, I think, is developing into that guy, can be that guy that can be the centerpiece for the offensive line for years to come.
Yeah.
For Creed Humphrey to come out, make number 4 on the list as a center, that says a lot.
And Matt says it was a top 3 center in the NFL. And last I saw, he was actually ranked number 1. And Matt says, yes, they did have and they picked Nick Bolton. That's right. Inside linebacker from Missouri. And he performed. And you know who was really high on Nick Bolton before the draft was Jerry Murr of Rocky Mountain Sports Network and the Rocky Mountain Thunder podcast.
There you go.
Another thing here on Humphrey, his 97.7 pass block win rate, number one in the entire NFL.
Amazing.
He had a 98.2 pass block win rate when facing double teams, which was sixth. So,
Wow.
yeah.
And if the Kansas City Chiefs actually dropped back and passed every now and then, that'd be impressive. My gosh, think about that.
Yeah.
That offense to be
Do they
actually,
pass?
yeah, every now and again they
Yeah.
they take a deep shot. My
So,
goodness, that's amazing for the guy to step in like that.
yeah,
Well deserved number 4.
Yeah, number 3, Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle, Los Angeles Chargers. 16 starts and 90.4% pass block win rate. Number 13 all over overall. And I think that 90.4, pass block win rate is pretty impressive, especially being that you're a tackle and you're out there, usually one-on-one facing these edge rushers.
Yep.
So
I can tell you, the one thing that I really remember about Rashawn Slater, he was absent in the second game versus the Broncos, and it was obvious. I was so happy maybe we had a chance to actually be in this game because Rashawn Slater is an absolute beast. If you haven't had a chance to watch him, he well deserved. Good pick, number 13 overall, number 3 in the overall rookie.
Yeah, definitely. Number 2, Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Quarterback, New England Patriots. 3,801 yards, 22 interceptions, 13 interceptions. He is the number 15 overall draft pick. I mean, he started hot. I think he sort of came back to earth a little bit towards the end of the season, but
Yeah.
I still think he's going to be a good quarterback, especially in that system. So,
yeah, if they don't draw up too many more 1-for-3 game plans, I think he has a good career. Now, what a weird game that was.
Look here, we get Matt saying he missed on something, and that doesn't happen very often. So in pre-draft, I was pretty high on Slater, and Matt said, "Nah, the guy's not going to be that great." So, so.
Well, that was me with Mac Jones. I know that I wasn't officially a part of the 4th and 99 podcast team at that point, but hey, Mac Jones for me was a surprise. I know a lot of people were really high on him. I really thought he had already kind of hit his ceiling as a quarterback in college. I'm never usually that impressed with Alabama quarterbacks. They just haven't produced necessarily in the NFL. I thought Mac Jones was going to be another victim of that, I guess you could say. And so far, he's outperforming my expectations. And
yeah, and we had a gentleman that was part of RMSN back before the draft, Dennis Russell, huge on Mac Jones, and we all were telling him he's crazy, So he actually just came back to RMSN today, and first thing he said was, "Boy, I sure was right on that Mac Jones pick, wasn't I?" So and he was. So
he was.
All right, here we go. Number 1 pick.
Javonte.
And I asked earlier.
No.
I asked earlier, and Caleb Davis got it right. So number 1, you want to read it off? Keith?
No, go right ahead, man.
Go ahead, Keith. Hit the number 1 guy.
Is it Javonte? No, I was reading a different list. I'm sorry. Micah Parsons, inside linebacker, defensive end, Dallas Cowboys, 84 tackles, 13 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. He was drafted number 12th overall. Some people may remember that in Bronco land. Number 1 overall rookie, Micah Parsons.
Right. I mean,
according to ESPN.
When Denver didn't go quarterback and went, defense, and I have nothing against PS2. I think the guy's going to be a great cornerback for years to come, But Matt has pointed this out before. Cornerbacks don't win games, How often do you see a cornerback win a game for you? They may go out there and shut down a guy, but Micah Parsons, man, was sitting right there, and for some reason we didn't pick this guy. And this guy is a game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is a game wrecker. So, but
I'll be honest. I was on the opposite side of you, Dave. I was fine with us passing on Micah Parsons.
Were you? Was it
Yeah,
because of the character issues?
you got it. You got
Right,
it. At the
and
time,
that was a lot of concern with a lot of us here at Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Were the character issues with Micah Parsons?
yeah,
The incident that happened at Penn State.
yeah.
So
And for me, I was hoping that's what we were doing. George Payton's coming in, he's building a team, and he wants to build a team of high character, right? And that was my concern. I know that he is such an athlete, such an athlete. I mean, I loved everything he did on the field. If I didn't know anything else about him and had to sit there at that pick and decide, I would have been Micah Parsons all the way. But I was just concerned about it. Hopefully, that never creeps back into his life. He's done fantastic down in Dallas. He hasn't had any issues that I've heard or anything like that. He's played well, and he's deserving of the number one.
yeah, and this user here says I was praying to baby Jesus in the draft that we took Micah. So, and I mean, I hope the guy puts that issue behind him. And just continues to improve on the field and off the field.
Correct.
So, let me ask you a question, because there's somebody missing from this list.
Yeah.
That we as Bronco fans think should probably be on this list. So if you had to take one guy off of this list to put Javonte Williams on here, who would you take off the list?
Okay, let's just go back through here because I'd have to go back to Kyle Pitts. And I think the number one reason is just because look at where he was drafted. Like I said, this was supposed to be the game changer. Number four overall. I think at the time, isn't he the highest drafted tight end in I don't know how many years or ever, if I remember correctly? I think it's ever. If he's the number one top tight end ever taking, and he puts in one touchdown, even if he's just has the number 4 overall, 1,026 yards and 1 TD on 68 receptions. A top wide receiver, you're hoping for 100 receptions, over 1,000 yards, and probably 10 touchdowns. That's what this guy's supposed to be if he's a game changer. Right? That's the one I would take off.
Yeah, and Matt agrees with you, Kyle Pitts. Caleb agrees with you, Kyle Pitts. And I'm going to clean sweep this. I mean, I'm with you. Kyle Pitts was supposed to be a game changer, and scoring one touchdown is not being a game changer, where Javonte Williams showed that he could, really carry a football team when Pat Shurmur would utilize him properly. And, but he had 903 rushing yards. He had 43 receptions. I don't have all of his stats right in front of me. I don't know what his receiving yards were. How many touchdowns did he have? Did he have 10? I can't remember.
See if I can pull some stats real quick for you, buddy.
So,
yeah, just the overall year that he had. I mean, I can't remember any memorable plays from Kyle Pitts being replayed. How many times did you end up seeing a Javonte Williams replay on somebody's replay? ESPN or just some type of highlight reel or you name it. He was hitting it left, right, and otherwise, on top of putting up the stats that he put up. So I don't understand how Kyle Pitts elevated, especially to the point that he is. Like I said, when we were first going through that list, my thought was this guy shouldn't be that high. He should be lower on this list. Well, when you start looking at the guys that maybe got left off, and I know that as Bronco fans, we talk about that, but they talk about the few others that have been left off. Devontae Smith didn't have a terrible year. Was looking pretty good. Najee Harris. Anybody else like that guy?
yeah.
And if anybody didn't get a chance to see him, I guess he got injured in his final regular season. But Christian Barmore, defensive tackle for the New England Patriots, he was a lightning rod there in New England. So just a few that point out that jump out on that list for me too.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I think Pitts is the one guy that maybe did not belong on that list. So really quick, we're going to take a quick break and give a shout out to our sponsor. We'll be right back. No matter what you're grilling, Willow seasoning touch blend, perfect for the occasion. Feisty lime adds a great citrus element to seafood. It's not just for fajitas. High elevation SPG will elevate the flavor of everything you put it on. Use some sweet heat and add a little heat to your food. Sweet smoke adds a subtle smoky element to your foods. The possibilities are endless. Tag us in your creations. Order yours today at willowseasonings.com. All right.
Hey,
Yeah,
just
we're
coming
gonna-
back really quick. Stat line for Javonte Williams: 903 yards rushing, 4 TDs, 316 yards through the air, or receiving, I should say, and put another 3 TDs up there, so 7 TDs total
7
on the year.
touchdowns, Found the end zone 6 more times than Kyle Pitts, so.
In a shared back system.
Right. Where, and both of the backs, if it wasn't for a few bad games of play calling, both of our backs should have gone over 1,000 yards,
Yeah.
So, all right, now it's time to play What is Your Dream Team? So, Keith, give me your dream team of who your head coach is, who your offensive coordinator is, who your defensive coordinator is, and who would be your quarterback on your dream team.
Okay, so I've kind of already led into it, right? I love Brian Callahan. That's my pick for head coach. I like that he's coming back from Denver where he got his start. I like that he's been in a system with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think you look at what Joe Burrow has done in his 2 years, coming back from an injury. He was looking fantastic his first year. Who knows what that guy comes back looking like his second year with an injury? Is he going to play well? The guy just did fantastic. And I know sometimes you want to just associate success with one guy, but I really think this guy has the ability to come in here and be that young mind that you were talking about, that Sean McVay, take a shot, get the right guy in here. He does fantastic. If you've read anything up on all his team meetings, Zach Taylor says, I can leave this guy, come back hours later, he's right on where I would be with exactly what I would expect from myself. So if this guy understands, literally understands the offensive system, I want an offensive guy. That's my guy for head coach.
Okay.
How about you, Dave?
All right. My head coach, I'm going to go same guy. Brian Callahan. I like him. I like what he's done in Cincinnati. Like you said, he did a great job with Derek Carr with the Raiders. I really like the guy. And I think he could help a certain quarterback. But I'm not going to reveal that just yet. All right. Your OC, who would you bring? And please don't say the guy that I'm going to say.
I know we had no we didn't go through anything prior to this, so we've already went down the list. So hopefully we're on different pages here. But does his first name start with a D?
It does, and his last name starts with a B.
Okay. Why don't you start talking about Dan Pitcher, and I'll
All
chip in
right.
at the end, buddy.
Yeah, Dan Pitcher, for those who don't know about him, quarterbacks coach at Cincinnati Bengals. So if you're bringing in the head coach, you want to bring that guy along to be your offensive coordinator. So, and I think he can work wonders with the guy I want to be my quarterback.
Very good, buddy. Only thing I would say too is on Dan Pitcher, just not like some guy that just rolled into the system, doesn't have any idea either. Offensive assistant from 2016 to 2018, assistant quarterback coach in 2019 and 2020 to obviously present because they're still playing. Cincinnati Bengals quarterback coach, like you said. So, been in the system, not just a newbie.
So, all right, your defensive coordinator. Who's your?
If this ends up being the same guy, then I'm gonna freak out. So for me, it's Mike Caldwell.
Okay.
Inside linebackers coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay. That's a good choice. That's a great linebacker core in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he may be
Great.
a guy that's ready to make that leap.
Yeah, been a coach in the league since 2008 when he jumped in with the Philadelphia Eagles. Was there until he was an inside linebackers coach with the Cardinals from 2002, 13 and 14, Jets from 2015 and 18 as an assistant head coach and an inside linebackers coach, and then 2019 to present Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if you look at that Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense on top of it, I mean, let's not. I would love to have that mimicked on the field. I think he's could take that leap and take over this defense that's primed to be something like we've seen and what we've seen in Tampa Bay as well.
Yep, and that is that's a great choice. I'm going to go with Gerard Mayo.
Okay.
From the inside linebacker coach from New England.
Okay.
I mean, he's only been doing this for 3 years, but the guy was a high energy player, an instant leader when he got on that team, even as a rookie, the guy just an instant leader. After football, he left and went to the private sector for a while, and he, his former boss says this guy was just amazing. His leadership qualities, and things like that. And you know how he got back into coaching?
How's that?
It was Belichick and his wife. That sort of pushed him into it. Belichick kept telling his wife every time he'd see her, he'd be a great coach. She's like, I know. And eventually he answered the phone call, when Belichick called and said, yeah, I'll come in and talk to you. And then next thing you know it, and this guy, players respect him, he's a former player. He knows what it's like. And he's a former player who came up in this era, So I think he understands the athletes a little bit more. So I think he could come in, do a great job with our defense, maybe push him to the next level. So that would be my guy. All right. Now we're down to quarterback. So if you got this dream team of coaches, who's your quarterback, Keith? And I'm wondering if it's the same guy that would be mine.
I think we might be on the same page, but I do have a little bit an adaptation to this. How's that? I'm going to say, what does my quarterback room kind of look like? Okay. So my starting QB with this new head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and new ownership, I guess, at that point. Well, we'll end up talking about that in another episode. But that being said, I want Drew Lock as my starting quarterback. It makes perfectly good sense. If you look at, again, the development of Joe Burrow, if you look at what these two, the head coach we put in place and the offensive coordinator we put in place could do for a guy like Drew Lock, putting in a system that's as progressive as the Cincinnati Bengals put on the field, putting in a system that puts emphasis on the quarterback. I would just love to see that put together. To round out my quarterback room, at least my second quarterback, I think I'd want to go out and get Carson Strong.
Gee whiz. All right, what the heck's going on here?
Now, that's funny. I was leaning a little bit towards Matt Corral, but I really like what Max Strong brings, and from all attributes on the table. So that's my quarterback room at that point. So take it away if you want to change anything. It doesn't sound like you have anything to change, Dave, but how's that?
Well, and I'm the exact same. I want Drew Lock to be my guy. I'm not going to waste draft capital. I'm not going to waste players to go out and get someone like an Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson, that may not be around for very long. Aaron Rodgers only has 1 year left on his contract. I think Russell Wilson only has 2 or 3 years left on his contract. So, you go out and spend 2 or 3 first-round draft picks on these guys. So, and Matt, and I'm going to go up to Matt's dream team, and I agree. Carson Strong is my guy too. If Kenny Pickett was available and I could get him, I would get him. But Matt is going to point out another guy here that, is is really catching our attention. And I don't know if you've
Hmm.
had a chance to check this guy out yet, but it is Bailey Zapp of Western Kentucky. This
Ooh.
kid threw for 62 touchdowns this year. So, and I watched some film on him. He's a raw talent. He's not a guy that's going to come in here day one and start. You're going to have the right coaches in place to bring this guy along. And who better than Callahan and Pitcher, in my opinion?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know what Matt means here. Let's be realistic, I guess, coaching staff. But Matt called it the dream team. He's the one who came up with it. This is our dream. So why does it have to be realistic, Matt?
Why are you waking me up from my dream, man?
so
fine. We'll just get Dan Quinn and whoever his favorite picks are to round out the staff and call it good.
So
that's the reality. The slap you in the face, most likely reality. But let's hope we don't go down that path, Dave. I hope that we actually do take a little bit of a chance here and bring in an offensive mind. Maybe bring in somebody that's exciting and can bring something different to the table.
right.
I just don't feel like bringing in a defensive coordinator gets you there. So,
and here's the thing: is Dan Quinn has now been requested to interview with. Well, it was 6 teams, but he turned down Jacksonville. So 5 teams. There's the Chicago Bears, Miami Dolphins, the Minnesota Vikings, Denver Broncos, and New York Giants. Now they requested permission today. Is Denver even his number? Dan Quinn's a guy that's going to pick where he wants to go. Is Denver even his number one option? You got ownership issues, you got some instability at quarterback. I mean, you go to Minnesota, you got a pretty decent thing going on there. So
yeah, well, clean the slate though. They did get rid of Spielman up there. So I mean, especially if they go in and they're like, hey, you're going to have head coach plus type of duties.
Right.
Going into the GM type of responsibilities that we want you to do, why wouldn't you take that?
Right. And the Giants may be offering him the same thing.
Yeah.
Plus, the Giants or Chicago too. Chicago hasn't hired a GM yet.
Yeah.
They may
Giants
say,
also have the possibility of just saying, do you really like Pickett? We could bring in Kenny Pickett if you really like Pickett.
Well, and one thing I heard earlier today, the Giants have 2 picks in the top 10.
Yeah.
They got 5 and 7. That's
if Jets and the Russell Giants Wilson, are like loaded in the top 10.
If somebody's getting Russell Wilson, that might be the Giants.
Yeah.
And Dan Quinn, who has that Seattle tie, it may be a thing. So
yeah,
who knows how that's going to shake out. It's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out over the next week. I think the Broncos are going to try to finalize interviews by Friday, I believe. Okay. Matt, if you could confirm that would be great. Matt does say, and I'm not sure who Matt's talking about here, they have a ton of high-value draft capital. I don't know if he means the Giants or Minnesota.
Yeah.
So
I would assume Giants. Just I haven't seen Minnesota that they've had any draft capital. Should we do a little plug for Matt too? If anybody hasn't jumped onto the RMSN, Facebook, YouTube for sure. Go out there. It's being shared all over the place. He's doing a fantastic segment. It's called The Breakdown. And The Breakdown right now is all about our head coaches. We're all up to speed through all our interviews. So we're all 1 through 5. Is that right? And if I remember correctly, we've got 5 out altogether. So that being said, go over, check it out. Quick, easy bite segment. Grab it at your lunchtime if you want to. Learn about what we have for head coaching candidates. He's been doing a fantastic job. Thanks, Matt, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. I use it. I use it as breakdown material. He's been doing a ton of research, and it really shows out on that the breakdown, which you can find everywhere on RMSN.
Yeah, he's doing good, and it's on YouTube. So if you go to the Rocky Mountain Sports Network YouTube page. All of his videos are right there too. Also, we have another thing that's going to be coming out in the future is going to be called the Scouting Studio. So, and we'll be breaking down draft picks and things like that. So look for those to come out after the Bronco coaching search gets finalized, and we're going to switch over and start looking at prospects.
Some draft prospects. All right.
Yes. All right. It's time for our pick 'em. I think me and you won it last week, Keith. Matt got 0 right. We got them all right. We're just going to say
Oh,
that.
wow. Okay. Very good. Because
even though I think I only got 2 of them right.
I think I got 1.
Well, I know I got Tampa Bay right.
I got Tampa right.
I missed the Bills game because I picked the Patriots. Don't ask me why.
Oh, okay. I got 2 right there then. Okay.
I got the Bengals right.
Okay.
I
think
think you
better
picked
than I
the
thought,
Raiders,
man.
right? You picked the Raiders, right?
The Raiders. Yeah, I did. I thought they were. Yeah.
I missed the Cardinals and Rams game, and I missed the Dallas game as well.
Yep,
Did you pick San Francisco though? I believe.
Did I? I'm gonna have to go back and look, man. There.
We'll have to go back.
We'll go back. We'll have an updated schedule. We'll go back.
I'm gonna go
review the tape, just like you do, like in the game. Okay, there you go, buddy. Get us all on tape, man, or down on paper at least, I should say.
All right.
We're already on tape. We just have to go.
First game.
All right.
Cincinnati Bengals at Tennessee Titans on Saturday at 2:30 Mountain Time. Who are you going with?
This is going to be such a battle. This is going to be such a good game, buddy.
I thought I had a pen. I don't.
Derrick Henry's back, buddy.
Oh, I do. Yes, Derrick Henry is back.
Yeah. Cincinnati Bengals showed out. Man. I want to pick against the Bengals again. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. I'm going with the home team. I'm going with the bye week. I'm going for all of the preparation. Fantastic defense and juggernaut of an offense. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans.
And Matt is going Bengals. And you know where I'm going. I've been on the Bengals all year. And I'm going Bengals again. I don't think Tennessee has the secondary to stop these receivers. Now, that's gonna entail that, the Cincinnati offensive line has to give Joe Burrow a little bit of time.
Yeah.
You can't let this Tennessee offensive line just go crazy on them. But I'm going Bengals. I think that I think that Joe Burrow's going to have another big game. So,
jeez, I even see Colorado Cuban 420 is also not on my side. He's saying Bengals all the way.
Yep.
So, I'll just sit over here by myself. Next.
All right. Next, we have the 49ers at the Packers. Saturday evening, 6:15 p.m. Mountain Time. Where are you going, Keith?
I've been on the Packers all year. So guess what? That's exactly where I'm going. I mean,
you going Packers?
I am going Packers. I mean, every time you don't think that Aaron Rodgers is even capable, I don't care if he had to take a week off. He's got an injured toe. He's, got social media issues or media issues or COVID issues. You name it. He just comes out there, performs, puts up points, wins games. So,
yeah. I haven't seen Matt's pick yet, so I'll go ahead. Matt's going. Well, this makes no sense, Matt. Matt's going 49ers. And then he says Rodgers drops to 0-5 in the NFC Championship since their Super Bowl win. But it's not the NFC Championship.
Yeah, not yet, buddy.
It's divisional round, Matt. You're getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the Packers. Jimmy Garoppolo's banged up, shoulder injury.
Mm-hmm.
He's been playing. I just found this out too. I didn't know this. He's been playing with a ligament injury in the thumb of his throwing hand as well. So
imagine that Jimmy Garoppolo's hurt.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Packers.
All right, buddy.
All right, let's move on to Sunday. The Rams at the Buccaneers.
Oh man,
Is
these
Tom's
games.
time done?
You know, jeez, talk about great games, man. I don't know what I'm gonna be like clamoring all over the television set this weekend, man.
Yeah, Packers, Colorado Cuban 420 also says Packers. Sorry about
I
that.
no, it's okay. I just think Tampa Bay is too much. You know what I mean? It's going to be such a tight game, and this could be like one of the highest scoring games of the entire weekend, quite honestly. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Tampa Bay. I until TB12 proves me wrong. I guess I'll keep rolling that direction. I guess. So.
Okay, and I am going with the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh wow!
Those guys impressed the heck out of me Monday night.
Yeah.
And they have the defense to stop or slow down Brady. And Brady is missing some weapons too.
Yeah, that's
Antonio
true.
Brown is gone.
Fournette's
I
hurt.
think Godwin's still out. I don't
Mm-hmm.
Fournette's don't know if he's gonna play.
No.
Don't know if Ronald Jones is gonna play.
Hmm.
So
Can,
and Matt says Bond is going to do what he does best. He's going to wreck Tommy B. So, and Matt is also going with the Bucks. The Rams, if you could not tell. So Matt and I are going Rams. Keith is going Tampa Bay.
Yes.
All right, let's wrap it up with our late game, our afternoon game on Sunday. The Bills at the Chiefs.
Yeah. I got to roll with the Bills. I think the Chiefs go down here. Josh Allen has looked nothing but impressive. It doesn't seem like any scenario slows this guy down. His progression has been off the charts. I know a lot of people even talk about how we should have drafted this individual. He was not that high on that many draft charts, and quite honestly, if you looked at his first 2 years, you would not be that impressed. But year 3, he really came on. This guy is fantastic, and I think he carries him. I think this is the Buffalo Bills' time. I think they can go deep, like maybe all the way to the big game. I'm going with the Bills.
And Matt is going with the Chiefs. He's saying they're going to win by 3. So,
which
Matt.
Which side are you falling on, buddy?
Oh, I'm going Bills. I think the Bills. I think they might win by 10 plus points.
Okay.
Especially if their defense can show up, because Kansas City has not been impressive offensively.
No.
And I don't know if their defense can really contain Josh Allen and those receivers. So, and how about Isaiah McKenzie?
Yeah.
The guy couldn't catch a punt here.
I know. I know. And now not only is he their returner, but look at him as a wide receiver. He's doing fantastic out there. And even Emmanuel Sanders, nice tribute. Thank you, Emmanuel Sanders. Get a nice little tribute out to DT as he saluted and when he got in for the touchdown. That was fantastic. But even Emmanuel Sanders continuing to produce, especially with an offense and with a quarterback like Josh Allen.
And then Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
I mean, Knox is your tight. How about that catch of Knox? And Josh Allen's trying to throw the ball away out of the end zone, and Knox elevates and catches it for a touchdown. So, so Keith has the AFC Championship as the Titans and the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Matt has it as the Bengals and the Chiefs, and I have it as the Bengals and the Bills.
Wow.
So none of us have it the same. NFC Championship, Keith has it as Packers and Tampa Bay, a repeat of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Matt has it the 49ers and the Rams.
Wow.
That would be the third meeting of the two teams this year.
Yep.
And then I have it as the Packers and the Rams. So next week we'll be talking about who our Super Bowl picks are going to be.
Is that amazing or what, right?
Intriguing minds want to know.
Absolutely.
Or inquiring minds want to know. So All right. Hey, everybody, we want to thank you, for joining in. We appreciate it. Matt wasn't with us today, like we said. Next week, we'll be back on next week at 6 p.m., hopefully with Matt in tow. Hopefully we'll know who the Broncos head coach is. So, but until then, follow us on all of our social media outlets. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Our Twitter handles are down below. So right under our picture. So follow us there. Instagram. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. Follow Rocky Mountain Sports Report. Come over to Facebook. Interact with us on that page. And just check us out, support us, help us grow. If you like what we're doing, let your friends know. If you guys want to get behind the mic, take a shot at it, let Matt know. So we're always looking for new people to throw some different shows and stuff like that out there. So, all right, everybody, thanks again. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we will see you next Wednesday. Everybody enjoy football, this weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will talk to you next Wednesday.